Hello, Under Controller family. Welcome to the next episode of Blind Review. This season is the MCU, in which Jake hasn't watched any of the MCU movies, and we are now on the second episode of this series with Captain Marvel. And Captain Marvel, I'm just gonna go ahead and give my opinions of Captain Marvel before we turn it over to Jake in the hot seat. Captain Marvel, I think I just have something against the Marvels. I didn't love Captain Marvel and I didn't love Miss Marvel. And don't say it's just because they're a woman, because I like Black Widow, I like She-Hulk right now, I like WandaVision, even though that's part Wanda, part Vision, but whatever. So, I'm going to turn it over to Jake in the hot seat now. Give us what you like. I know last time we were talking about Captain America, and you kind of told us that like you thought Bucky was Captain America.
Yeah, I had no idea.
So what was your like before watching Captain America? What did you go in it expecting?
Captain Marvel, you mean?
Okay, yeah, thanks. Too many captains.
It's been a long day, you guys. We're filming this. Sims has traveled a lot today, and I have worked today, so forgive us for a few flubs here and there. Going into this one, I had nothing at all. The basic ones. And what's funny is that as I'm watching these movies, do you remember the TV show Mad that was on whenever we were kids?
Yeah.
I'm getting a lot of the references now.
Yeah.
That have to do with like Captain America being frozen in the ice, and there's one Mad skit where he's like, watching Peter Jackson's King Kong, and that's the joke is that by the time he's thawed out, the movie's over. So I don't have, I've at least had some pop culture stuff to go off of, and some jokes and stuff making fun of it, parodies, but I had nothing for Captain Marvel.
Mm-hmm.
And jumping off of what you said with, I don't know if necessarily the reason people don't like it as much is because she's a woman. I feel like or at least the way I want to think about it is I feel like it's, this movie, and I learned this, I watched the post-credit scene, so spoiled some stuff, but it takes place right before Endgame, right?
Yeah.
So, it came out when this right before Endgame. I'm sorry. It did not take place right before, but...
I believe Endgame was 2018, Captain Marvel was 19, and Endgame was 20. I think.
Infinity War was 17, right?
Yeah, I just know that was Infinity War, and then Captain Marvel came out.
And then Endgame.
And then Endgame.
So I feel like a lot of the reasons it gets hate is that Marvel chose to release an origin movie for a superhero that we had not yet seen, that would show up in Endgame, but I think that everyone was ready, just release Endgame already. Yeah. So I feel like that's where it gets a lot of the hate from. And we'll go ahead and go into the review.
Yeah, I was going to say, so a little bit more. What is your synopsis of this movie?
All right, so my recap of this movie.
Back cover of this movie.
If I was writing the back cover of this movie, are you going to go ahead and look up the actual one to see how close I get?
No.
And I have not read this one. All right, so my recap of this movie is it fades in, and we have a lady that is hurt, already waking up in the blood of her enemies, as I made the joke to my friends as I was watching it, or I made the joke to Sims and Chase and Tyler. Unfortunately, they're not able to join us tonight, but anyway, so she wakes up and she's in the middle of a fight. There's this woman that she does not know the name of that is fighting off some strange looking aliens. Okay, so we fast forward of she wakes up in her home, I guess, planet of Hala.
Yeah,
that's the right place, right?
Yeah.
It's like I didn't just watch this movie. Of homeworld of Hala. And she has no memory of who she is. All she knows is that her name is Veers and that she is a member of the Kree Star Force. All right, so she goes and does a little training exercise with her mentor. And she just basically tries to get him to control his he basically tries to get her to control her emotions in battle. All revealing if she has some kind of, I believe she calls them photon blasts, but it's photon powers that allow her to shoot things out of her hands and whatnot, and basically kind of like Iron Man, but real instead of
it's
fabricated.
from her actual hand instead of a suit.
Yeah. So She goes and she has a communion with this supreme intelligence, and it's the ruler of Hala, of the Kree. And I can't remember why she has the meeting, but she meets with them. It's basically trying to learn to control her powers or just looking for guidance, essentially. All right, so after that, she goes on this mission that is to save somebody who's been taken captive that was one of their spies. And while there, they meet the Scrolls. Is that or
Yeah.
Scrolls? Is that how you say it? Well, I want to make sure I'm pronouncing everything right. But meets or has a contact with the Scrolls, and a ambush breaks out, and she gets captured. Well, in there, they're probing her mind, going through her memories, trying to find something, and they find the woman that the Supreme Intelligence revealed or appeared to her as, because the Supreme Intelligence is someone you trust or whatnot. Okay, so she still doesn't know why she's having these memories and everything, and it's all memories of what seems to be Top Gun. No, I'm just kidding. But basically, she was a pilot, and
she's
the US,
Tom Cruise.
she's in the U.S. Air Force, and she doesn't know why she has these memories because they just don't make sense to her. She doesn't remember them, but they're coming to her. Well, she breaks out of captivity in there, and she fights her way out, and it leads them to planet C-53, otherwise known as Earth. So she crashes onto Earth
where we live.
and goes through a blockbuster ceiling and steps outside, and eventually she meets Nick Fury, who we know
we just call Fury.
Yeah, who is just Fury. All right, so he tries to talk to her, and as he's trying to get her to come with him, the Skrulls attack, and they go through this whole chase scene and action scene where she's chasing down Skrulls and everything. All right, well, eventually she leaves and she runs off and hides, and Fury goes back to HQ and is trying to figure out what to do as there's an alien autopsy being done if they manage to kill one of the Skrulls. And his boss tells him to go find her to get answers. So he goes off by himself at the request of his boss, who secretly is the head honcho Skrull, Talos. He has taken control, he has shapeshifted into him because that's what Skrulls do, they shapeshift.
He doesn't steal, it's
he just borrows his boss's identity. Okay, so then Fury meets up with Captain Marvel, otherwise known as Veers still, while they are in a bar somewhere. I'm not 100% sure. It never really says, does it? It's kind of, it looks like,
I'm not sure.
It looks like Nevada. It looks like the desert, kind of, or Nevada, or somewhere around there, around Phoenix or something. I don't know. I'm from
all speculations here.
Yeah, all speculation here. But that's usually where a lot of those training bases are, kind of Midwest.
Obviously, this is in.
If only Chase were here, because he could just.
Yeah.
Actually. Anyway. So.
Anybody who doesn't know, this is actually in Albuquerque, New Mexico.
So she meets with Fury there. They talk, and then he takes her to a hidden facility to try and find a Dr. What is her name? Lawson. To find a Dr. Lawson, because that is who they have been searching for, because she has developed light space travel engine, or slip space in Halo universe, basically travel at the speed of light. And the Skrulls want it for some reason. It is speculated that they want it so that they can take over more planets quicker and more efficiently. They can get farther away easier and whatnot. Okay, so she and Fury go to a locked down facility that is a military facility, searching for Dr. Lawson. Well, they get there and they get detained. And eventually they break out. Fury calls in his boss, who he does not know is a Skrull currently. Veers and Fury escape. They fly to Louisiana to meet up with her. Oh, back up. She finds out that she is not Veers. She finds out that her name is Carol. I cannot remember her last name. Danvers. Carol Danvers. And she supposedly died with Dr. Lawson, who crash landed. Well, they go to Louisiana to meet up with the last person that saw them alive, which was her best friend. They grab a plane and they escape. I do not remember.
Maria? No. It's not Monica Rambeau, because that's her daughter.
I don't remember.
It's something Rambo.
We'll put it. We'll put a little asterisk here. I don't remember her name.
Obviously,
I'm sorry.
It starts with an M.
I think it does. I can't remember. But anyway, they meet her and they find out that she supposedly died that day. That the plane, they were in a plane and the plane crashed, killing her and Dr. Lawson. Okay, well, come to find out, the Skrulls have also come to her house and have shown up attempting to get something from her. They want Captain Marvel to come with them, or they want Veers to come with them. Sorry, I had to make a quick little cut there. So anyway, they go to her friend's house.
Maria
Rambo. And they have also been followed by Talos, who has showed up and basically just wants to talk at this point.
Yeah.
So he has retrieved the black box from the plane that crashed, that Veers was on, who we now know is Carol. Her name is Carol. Well, they agree to have a sit down and talk and listen. So they play the black box, and she finds out that she was being chased by, ding, 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 bet you didn't see this one coming, her mentor is who was following Dr. Lawson, who was also actually a Kree, not even human at all. And she had been coming here to try and save the Skrulls because she discovered that the Kree were actually not so good people, that they were just oppressing the Skrulls and at war with them for no reason. Self-made war, basically. Okay, so then she finds all this information out, and that she was actually human, and that she actually fought with her mentor, and before she could be killed, she shoots the engine that is the light speed travel device and absorbs the power of it. That is where she gets her powers. So then her mentor, seeing this,
I feel like you're missing a big part.
What about?
What is the engine powered by?
We'll get to that in a minute.
You've skipped that part though, because there's the fight scene where they're all at Marvel's lab.
I'm not there yet.
You know that what you're talking about now is after that part.
No. They're still at her friend's house. Whenever she finds the black box, and because that's when she finds out that he lied to her.
Yeah.
And she shoots it and absorbs the powers. That's how she gets her powers.
Yeah.
Okay. So then the Skrulls decide to team up with her so that they can go to find Dr. Lawson's lab and can basically escape from being under the foot or under the thumb of the Kree. Well, they go and they get there, and all the while her Kree team that she had been a part of shows up looking for her. Well, eventually they find her on Dr. Lawson's lab, which was hidden in space. All right? So they go there, and that's whenever the Kree Star Force show up, and they basically take everybody hostage, take everybody captive, and they're going to basically kill the Skrulls. They're going to do whatever, and they're going to take her back to the Supreme Intelligence. All the while, she is meeting with the Supreme Intelligence, and this entire time she's had this little chip on the back of her neck that has been regulating her powers. And while she's in there, she talks to the Supreme Intelligence a little bit, and she eventually learns that she can just take that thing off. So she takes it off, she gets full use of her powers back, and proceeds to wreck shop upon this. Also, at some point, the leader of the Kree Star Force, whose name I do not remember, he has contacted Ronan, who is, I guess, one of the leaders of the Kree, kind of.
It's like the big bad of the Kree, basically.
And he is in pursuit, coming and is going to destroy the Earth because he believes that, or the mentor has told Ronan that the Skrulls have made a colony on Earth, and he's coming to destroy it. Well, Captain Marvel breaks free and proceeds to wreck shop and saves everybody, and they go to Earth for one final showdown between her and the mentor. Which actually, no, she stops Ronan first. Ronan shows up and starts shooting missiles at Earth.
Yeah, and then she shows up and he's like, "Oh, time to go home."
Yeah, she destroys all of the missiles and destroys one of the cruisers, and he's like, "All right, we're getting out of here."
Yeah.
So he turns tail and runs, And then she has the one final standoff with her mentor. And we'll talk about a very specific scene part there that I absolutely love. But she beats him, and then he goes back to tell Supreme Intelligence that, hey, she's coming for it. Well, then she goes to help the Skrulls find a new home. All the while, and also in the lab, which is completely against. I'm sorry, I'm skipping over some things. I should have made a note. I meant to make notes about this before we started, but I forgot to. So I'm doing this all by memory.
Unscripted.
Very unscripted. I had the other one kind of planned in my head. This one's completely unscripted, so y'all please forgive me for that. But in the lab, they find the Tesseract, which is completely opposite from what I thought was going to happen. And she has used it, I'm guessing, to power the Lightspeed travel engine that has a name.
The engine harnesses the power of the Tesseract
to travel speed of light. Yeah. Okay, so anyway, after that she has that one final fight with her mentor. Then she goes to help the Skrulls find a new place to live. And Samuel L. Jackson, Fury, excuse me. I just love Samuel L. Jackson. He's so great. Fury has the Tesseract, and it has been graciously swallowed by what is not a cat. I can't remember what it's called. Flarkin or something. Flarkin, I believe. And
I'm probably saying it wrong.
I think I can't remember. I think that's it. I can't remember. I think it's Flarkin.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's swallowed by the cat named Goose. That is actually not a cat.
Or a goose.
Or a goose, yeah. A cat named Goose. It's named Goose after Goose from Top Gun. Come on now.
Dang, she really is.
Excuse me. Crazy. So then it cuts to the ending of the movie where Fury is in his office preparing a initiative for basically if they're ever attacked by aliens. And he names it the Avenger Initiative after Carol.
You don't know that he names it that, but you know he names it that.
Yeah, he names it the Avenger. You see him. Okay, well, you see him backspace, and then starts typing.
Protector Initiative.
Yeah,
and you see him backspace,
and you can assume it's because the camera zooms in on Carol the Avenger.
Yeah,
and
you can assume.
You assume.
It's the Avenger.
Well, I mean,
obviously.
So that's the recap. Obvious. Sorry about that. Yeah, we're gonna script the next one.
So, and then you can talk about the last end credit scene too.
Okay, so the end credit scene, like I said, it's right after Infinity War, obviously.
The other one.
The other one.
You didn't see the other.
The other one is whenever she shows back up on Earth, right?
There's two.
There's two?
In Captain. Okay.
There's two?
There is two.
I thought the post-credit scene is when she shows back up on Earth and is like, "Where's Fury?"
Yeah, there's another one after.
There's another one?
There's two.
Okay, so I just watched the second post-credit scene.
A bit of mid-podcast.
Sims asked me today, did you watch both post-credit scenes? I thought he was talking about the one for Iron Man and for Captain Marvel. No, Captain Marvel has two. Okay.
Captain Marvel.
Okay, so the cat vomits up the Tesseract, all right? Goose vomits up the Tesseract, all right?
So, you've already seen Iron Man, so you know that your theory from the last video about the Tesseract powering Iron Man's suit
is wrong.
Wrong.
Yeah, it's wrong.
But now you know the Tesseract
is in Fury's custody right now.
Yeah.
So as far as I know, right now.
As far as you know, for right now.
As of, I'm assuming Iron Man, yes.
Yeah.
It's no secret now. We filmed them both, or we're filming these both the same day.
So if you're wondering why we're wearing the same clothes for like 3 videos,
we're gonna film 3 videos today. Probably. Yeah.
More than likely.
Okay, so go ahead. All right, so recap's done. Yeah, we're definitely scripting the next one a little bit better.
Yeah, I was about to say might have, but like I feel like Iron Man, it's more of a straightforward
from this point
plot.
Okay, well, hang on. We'll talk about Iron Man.
Kind of jumped around a little bit.
Yeah. Oh, wait. Yes, Captain America kind of jumped around a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah, in like terms of plot.
Yes.
But Iron Man, I feel like is
Wait,
more.
we're talking about Captain Marvel.
Oh my gosh.
Are you meaning Captain Marvel, or are you just saying Iron?
All right, Captain America. It was straightforward, like from beginning to end.
Yeah,
Captain Marvel was it kind of jumped around a little bit.
It jumps around a little bit. I would
Because
say.
like it shows like flashbacks. It shows like
Yeah. It's kind of clipped together.
but then Iron Man also it's more straightforward. Like it
Yes.
doesn't. There's the jump back in the beginning.
Yes.
But like other than that, the rest of it's straightforward.
Yes.
But like, so that's what I'm saying is like our plot of Captain Marvel, it's gonna jump around because the movie naturally jumps around.
Right.
All right. So moving on to the questions. Some
In the
of
hot
those are
seat.
similar to our last fun review question. So did you have like a favorite part or a part you didn't like? Luckily, I will say in this one there was no bad jump cuts.
There was
I
not
saw-
a bad jump cut in this one.
Marvel's gotten better.
Yeah. I don't.
Keep
Yeah.
up your game, Marvel.
Okay, so my favorite part, I definitely think I've got a couple that stick out in my mind. One of my favorite parts, absolutely, is whenever she wakes up on the scroll ship and she is just wrecking shop with the scrolls like that, and like with her hands like tied, basically,
Yeah.
with her hands covered, not using her powers whatsoever. That goes to show you she's not one of those superheroes that you take her powers away, you take away everything, and she can't do anything, right? She's not one of those superheroes. She is naturally just able to fight. Also, the fight choreography in this movie was phenomenal.
it's really
I
good.
loved the fight choreography. It was so good. It was not slow. There was good impacts. Every scene, every hit you could feel. Like it was a great choreography as far as fight choreography.
I would definitely say
Okay,
that.
so there's that whole scene. Also, there's a lot of comedy throughout the whole thing.
Yeah.
Obviously, when she lands in the blockbuster, that's hilarious.
I was gonna say, that entire like whenever she lands on the blockbuster, gets out, goes
And goes and talks to the security guard. Yeah.
But I also really like whenever she's talking to Fury in the bar and she's like asking him all these deep cut questions.
All these deep cut questions.
Yeah, to like prove
To prove
that
he's not a Skrull.
And he's like, all right, how are you not a Skrull? And he's like,
Yeah, and she
and
just shoots.
you gotta think. Even though this is the second movie chronologically, unless there's a movie that comes out before, like that takes place before Captain America and Captain Marvel.
Yeah.
This is the first time Fury's seeing anybody with powers.
Yeah.
So he's like, he's got to be like,
He's like, and I love his response.
But
He's
like,
just, he's like, how does that prove you're not a Skrull?
Yeah.
And she's like, Skrulls can't do that.
yeah, he's
Like, everybody knows.
Obviously, like, you're not
Everybody
reading
knows.
history
Skrulls
books,
can't
like,
do that.
Come on.
Forgetting that she's from another
But
planet.
then they do say in the end, like, we don't know what's out there. This is the first one we found, and we weren't even looking. So, like,
Right.
I do feel like there isn't going to be a movie that comes out that takes place between.
Right. I feel like the only one that they could do is like Fury, and it's like his backstory.
Maybe.
Like that's the only thing I could see. Which he kind of gets. Well, no, Agents of Shield is he doesn't really get a backstory in it, does he?
He's on. I haven't watched Agents of Shield.
Okay.
I'll just say that.
But I don't really know what it's
Agent
about.
Coulson is in Agents of Shield. I don't think Fury is.
Okay, well that's weird. That's really weird.
Yeah.
Considering he's supposed to be like the head of Shield.
Yeah.
Okay, so of course,
But I don't know if you have watched Agents of Shield.
comment down below.
Also, if you want to join us on this adventure, comment your favorite part. in the
Yes.
comments.
Hey, answer all these questions in the comments.
Answer them with us. What's
Just
your
tell us what your
part?
favorite is.
Was
Tell us
there
what your least
anything
favorite
that
part
you
is.
saw?
The another thing is obviously also I absolutely love whenever Fury gets the piece of tape and pulls the thumbprint off of it to get her and him out. And then I love that they get to the next one and he's gonna try and do it again and she just blasts the door and he's like, you mean to tell me you watched me play with tape and you could have done that the whole time?
Yeah.
And she's like, I want to see your thunder.
That's pretty
The on-screen chemistry of her and Fury of
It's a
Captain
really
Marvel
good
and
duo.
Fury, like they are a great duo, just the way that they work together. Also, of course, whenever she goes full ham with her powers and beats the mess out of everybody on the on Dr. Lawson's ship,
Yeah.
that's a great
That
moment.
like that fight scene and the music.
Yeah.
It's
Oh my goodness.
The music in this movie.
Yes, it's
is
so
just-
good.
It's incredible.
It's really great. Then also we've got I love the scene where her friend is flying the plane like through the trenches trying to get away from the from the Kree pilot, and just that whole scene's really good, just really well done. Those are probably just bullet points, my high favorite parts. That it was great. I absolutely love that.
Yeah.
Worst part, I can't really think of a bad moment. I mean, it does jump a lot, but to me, that's not that big of a problem.
Yeah.
Because a lot of the shows I watch, they jump around a lot. The Walking Dead, infamous for doing that. I don't necessarily like that, but the Walking Dead, you got one episode that's based on this group of characters, and then another episode that's based on a completely different group of characters. So I'm kind of used to that. A movie that I feel like was really bad with the jumping around cuts, I don't think you've seen it, but Jurassic World Dominion. The first 30 minutes of the film, you've already been 10 different places, and I really didn't like that. So to me, the jumping around wasn't as bad. I mean, it does it a good bit, but it's not that bad. The other thing that I feel like, the one thing I can think of, there's just kind of one moment that kind of made me say, hang on, wait, what? And that's whenever they go to Dr. Lawson's ship and there's other scrolls there. I don't know, that just kind of came out of left field for me that there were other scrolls there.
Yeah, but they did say, this is our only place we could live. Yeah, and we didn't want to send a signal or anything.
Yeah, I get that.
We were afraid the Kree
would find them.
So,
what are you doing?
Clickbait.
If you hear something whining, it's her. Hey.
I will also say that,
Oh, you okay? I'm sorry.
Dang. Animal abuse.
Here. You okay? Since you want to be on camera so bad.
But, for somebody who watched Captain Marvel when it came out, which was, like we were saying, after Infinity War, before Endgame, this movie also came out after Guardians of the Galaxy. So as long as you saw Guardians of the Galaxy, you know
who the Kree are.
So whenever they're oh, the Kree are bad. Homie, obviously...
Well, also, just throwing this out there, I've seen Guardians of the Galaxy. So it's a little bit of an over-exaggeration. I've never seen a Marvel movie. I've seen 2.5. I was going to say 3. I've seen 2.5, and Guardians of the Galaxy is one of them. But I didn't really think about it.
Yeah.
And also, it's been a little bit since I've seen Guardians of the Galaxy.
That was the one thing whenever, the movie starts and it's she's working for the Kree, you're she's working for the bad guy? That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
So
okay, another thing though, also the worst part that I didn't really like. I feel like it was a little cliche of the the good guys are actually the bad guys,
Yeah.
Which
whoa.
Yeah, I mean
turntable.
Yeah. Also, we'll talk about it in the next video. But yeah, it's a little cliche, but I mean, it's not. I wouldn't call it a tired cliche, but it's not.
If you're watching this movie in chronological order, like you were doing,
yes,
and you hadn't seen Guardians of the Galaxy,
yes,
you
it would be a really good,
would be very shocking.
It would be a very shocking moment.
Whoa.
Yes,
I did not expect that.
Which I didn't really expect it either, but I didn't expect it at all. I didn't see it coming. But also, it's one of those deals of a little cliche. It's just a little. I mean. It doesn't bother me. I'm really weird when it comes to movies of I think bad movies are okay. I'm really, you know my opinion on most movies. So it's kind of one of those things. But I would say that was probably, those would be my critiques. That's the only issues I had with the movie. Other than that, it was a stellar movie. It was wonderful.
Yeah, I was about to say
I really
the first
liked
time I watched it, I was kind of it felt like the point of she's a woman and she's powerful was driven too much. That point, it felt like that was driven into the ground. Where in Captain America, they don't drop that point in the ground. Captain America is strong and he'll lay down on the line.
Right.
He'll make the sacrifice play. But in Captain America, it was
Captain Marvel.
Dang, Captain Marvel. I'm gonna just call him Marvel and America. America, I don't feel like there was a plot that was forced on you, and I feel like in Captain Marvel the plot was forced in some points.
I will say she definitely is not a Mary Sue 100%. I don't care what anybody else's opinion is. I don't think she is.
Yeah.
She is not just powerful for the sake of being powerful or for any reason. I don't think that at all.
Yeah.
Because I mean, she proves it in the first like 30 minutes of the movie with her hands bound. She is beating the mess out of Skrulls. So I definitely don't think that she's overpowered just to be overpowered. I said, I think that she's a strong lead role.
I feel like that's like a thing too. Is like
I feel like that's the reason people don't like this movie.
I do like the character of Captain Marvel. It's just like this movie. I don't know. I feel like if you're watching it when it came out, it was kind of like lackluster because you already knew what the
you have Infinity War.
Yeah,
I mean it's sandwiched in between Infinity War and Endgame.
What was gonna happen in this movie? But like, I am trying to be positive and not just be like, this movie was awful. This movie was awful. But
I don't think it was awful.
There were parts that I liked of it. I'm not gonna lie, and I feel like my second time watching it, whenever I watched it, this time for this video, I did enjoy it a lot.
Got kind of growing on you a little bit more.
Like I found because like you were saying, it wasn't so much between Infinity War and Endgame, so like I didn't have the standards of like this is what I want this movie to be. But like
I feel like
taking that separate, I feel like I was actually able to enjoy this movie more.
I feel like if and this is just a critique, I feel like a lot of people have it. I feel like if they had told the story in chronological order of the movie's release, of like, okay, you're getting your Captain America movie, then you're getting your Captain Marvel movie, and here's Thor, here's Iron Man, and you do all of your background movies, and then have the Avengers, and then have the rest of the, just everybody coming together. I feel like it wouldn't have been. I mean, like I said, you're throwing it in between Infinity War and Endgame, probably the two biggest box office hits of Marvel. Yeah. I mean, not even probably, they are. Just, I mean, you had people that don't even. I mean, I didn't go see the movie, either of the movies, but you have people that have never even watched a Marvel movie in their life going to see these two movies just because of how big they were.
Yeah.
So I feel like that's why it gets so much hate, of why people don't like. I mean, is that a common thing in the Marvel community?
I really feel like it was, especially with like how this movie was released, and like I'll even say it myself. Like, I'm enjoying watching these first two in chronological order. Then if I was gonna watch like Incredible Hulk came out first, so then I'll watch that, and then Iron Man came out next, and like watching it in the order they released, I'm enjoying it more. Watching it chronologically.
I feel like it helps make more sense to it. So I think it's a good thing that we're going through it like this. All right. So what's your next? What you got next on the docket?
So next, before we get into Jake's review, rating. Rating. Jeez, not talk. Before we get into the rating, we're gonna talk about what you think is going to happen next.
Okay, so next, we know that
not including the end credit scenes, because other than the second one, the first end credit scene where it shows the in-game clip.
Right, we're not talking about that. We're not worried about that one.
Future of Captain Marvel from the movie.
Future of Captain Marvel, or just what happens?
What you think happens next.
Okay, so obviously I feel like we know that threads are being sewn together, right? We know Captain America is the first Avenger. We know that Fury is putting together this initiative that I think, what'd you say it was called? The Protectors originally. And we assume that he has renamed it the Marvel. I don't think it's initiative.
Avenger.
Sorry, I'm thinking of the Marvel thing.
Which, like, they never call her Captain Marvel.
They really don't.
Like,
well, see, I think, and it is funny that Fury calls Dr. Lawson Marvel, and she's like, it's Marvel, because that was her Kree name, and she's like, Marvel. No, Marvel. So I guess that's where they kind of get the idea, hey, Captain Marvel is from that. But we know that he's putting together this coalition of superheroes, basically. He doesn't call them that, but are to protect against the world's greatest threats that would come. So I feel like
even intergalactic
threats. So coming next, seeing Captain America and then seeing also Captain Marvel, we know that there are threats out there, and I feel like next we would see Ronan maybe think about coming, because he even says that we're coming back for the weapon, and he makes the statement, what does he say? Does he say, he asks him, what are we coming back
He
for?
says, we're coming back for the weapon.
And
she
he says,
the core.
The core, that's it. And he says, the core, and he says, no, the girl. So I would think that would be the next step, is that Ronan is looking for Carol at this point. Is looking for Captain Marvel to take her back and weaponize her, maybe try and control her, like maybe do exactly what the Kree already did with the little implantation chip, but like mind control actually. Maybe
I was just thinking about this. You missed talking about the part of why she got the name of Veers.
I don't remember.
Because in the wreck, the only thing that was left was like
that's right.
Snapped off, and
the snap
Veers instead of Carol Danvers.
That's right. I forgot about.
I didn't know if you had picked.
Yeah. Because I remember one half says Carol, which is the half that she finds.
It's like Carol Dan.
And then her mentor has a part that Veers on it, and that's all that he. That's right. Okay.
No, it's in the box of her memories, and they were like, "This is the only thing that survived." Yeah.
Okay.
From the plane crash.
Yeah, my bad. Yeah.
So like that's how she got the name Veers.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. I thought that they just gave her a random name.
No.
You see how well I paid attention. I tried
to give you the fine detail.
Yeah. Thank you for that.
I try my best.
So what's next now?
Are we jumping into the rating?
I mean, if you're ready to jump into the rating, we've been going for we've been going about 40 minutes, so I think it's time.
Alright, so
and we got a few cuts to make.
Never mind, we'll talk. Well, what do you think now happens with the Tesseract? I mean, you just think like Nick Fury just keeps it.
I feel like Fury keeps it and keeps it hidden until it's needed for some reason.
Yeah.
I feel like that's what happens next to the Tesseract, is that Nick Fury is going to walk. Okay, one of two things. Nick Fury is either going to keep it, or someone's going to walk in and be like, "Oh, wait a minute, what's this?" And then it's going to get stolen again. Yeah. Now that is something I want to. Does it ever get into how she wound up with the Tesseract? Because last time I saw Howard Stark had it, he recovered it.
Wait, who got the Tesseract?
How Marvel got it.
I feel like
is that explained?
I think it is,
because I know that the last person to have it was Howard Stark, which I would eventually end up in the hands of the military.
Yeah.
For obvious reasons. So maybe that's where she got it, is because she was in the military and developing the light speed travel device. So maybe that's where she. I feel like that's what happened.
I don't think it explicitly says it. Yeah. But like I would agree with that. That like I feel like ended up in the hands of the military, or like Howard Stark, and then
they maybe worked together on, or at least she was like, okay, this is what Hydra was using to power their doomsday weapons. Can we use this for good instead of evil? I feel like that's how she went, and she took it that direction. Probably. That's another little point that I had of like, does it explain where she got it from? Because it was kind of weird to me that you just open up a lunchbox that's, hey, got the Fonz on it, and it's like, oh, hey, the Tesseract's in here.
No, they put the Tesseract in there.
Oh, it's not in there lately?
It's like powering Marvel's
That's right. That's right. They take it and they put it in the lunchbox. That's right. My bad. Get my wires crossed.
We're doing great, guys.
Yeah. This one's gonna be probably the most lackluster one.
No, I think
it's gonna be sandwiched in between two good videos, just like it was with the movie.
Let's go.
Okay, so for the rating on this one, all right, I would go ahead and say we've changed them up a little bit. They're mostly the same, other than we're going to have one category that is revolving. So for every movie. So for cinematography, I believe that it was shot wonderfully. I would go ahead and give it a 7 on that.
Yeah, I was about to say, I think it's a really good movie.
It's very wonderfully shot.
CGI, like photon blast, even they
look great. Like I mean, obviously there's a little bit of disbelief, but there was. I mean, it was really able to suspend disbelief of this is a good movie. Like it's great. Going on forward to the plot, I feel like it could be a little confusing, especially with some of the jumping around and everything. I mean, it made sense. I did get a little confused. Like, okay, they're on Hala. Okay, now they're on this other planet. Okay, oh, now they're on Earth. Okay, yeah. So I would give it a 6 probably in plot. Mm-hmm. I would say.
Or would you?
Okay, actually, okay, yeah, hang on, wait, back up. Plot, I would give it probably an 8. Easy to follow is where I'm gonna put the 6 at. That's what I would say.
Yeah.
A good origin story is our next category. This is the one that was a good lead-in for Captain America. Was it a good lead-in movie? We're swapping it. This is gonna be revolving. For good origin, I would give it a 10. I mean, Chase would probably disagree with me, but I think it's a good origin for the movies, for the cinematic universe.
Yeah.
I give it a 10 as far as good origin.
Like for Captain America, like, oh my gosh, for Captain Marvel.
We're gonna take a good break after this one.
For Captain Marvel, this movie, like for it to be her origin story movie, it is really good. It explains how she gets her powers. Right. It explains, like,
why she is who she is.
Yeah, why she is who she is. Like,
what has caused her to be like this.
Gives her everything. Like, you hear, like, how her life was with her parents without them, like, diving into that story.
Yes.
Like,
I forgot about that.
Through, like, the flashback.
She didn't have a good relationship with her parents. I mean, she's
got,
like, a good backstory.
Yeah. Like, I feel like, I mean, there may be, like, some points that are left off, but, like, you know, like, who her friends were growing up. I mean, she's
even touched, it's even touched on, you know, that because she was a woman, people didn't think that she could do what she could do. And just like how with Captain America, it does have a little bit of relatable.
Like, you're a scrawny kid, you can't do this.
It's got a little bit of relatability to it, of, you know, in our world today, a lot of women get told, you know, hey, you can't do this, you can't do that because you're a woman. And this really puts that to bed, that women can do great things. You know, it's not all a man's world. You know,
exactly.
I feel like it is wonderful. I think that this was a great
I was about to say, it's I like the character of Captain Marvel. I really do. It's just this movie. I feel like the movie itself, I feel like, was the problem. When it came out. Not the characters, not anything.
Not the plot. I think it's a great movie. Like I said, we're about to get to our rating here in a minute. Next category. Anything else you want to say about the origin?
No.
Next is realism. I would say for realism, okay, we're in the 90s now.
I mean,
95.
If a photon blasting alien fell through Jake's ceiling right now, I feel like we would have a similar reaction. Nick Fury of like,
oh,
what the heck?
Yeah, well, what's going on? Or they think she's crazy whenever he first shows up, and it's like, okay, this is a loon. We got to get her back and get her off the streets. He has a very real, and especially when the Skrulls show up, it's like, wait, what is that thing?
Yeah, especially whenever his
Agent Coulson, is that right?
Yeah.
Gets replaced by one.
Yeah,
that was funny.
Well, I even think it's funny too whenever she's at Maria Rambo's house and
her neighbor shows up, and she is very doubtful.
She's like talking to Monica, her daughter, and she's like, "Green aliens aren't real." Like, she is crazy. Don't believe that.
Oh yeah, that was funny. Yeah,
like that's another funny part. But like, I feel like their reaction to it, like they've lived on Earth. This is the first time they're having any encounter with any, like,
extraterrestrials. Yeah.
I mean, they might have known the story of Captain America, but, like...
Yeah, but still, even in that...
Captain America didn't blast photons.
Yeah, I feel like that was more of kind of... That was probably a little more undercover of, like, we got a good group of soldiers that's going through and taking out a special force of soldiers that's going through.
They might have known, like, this dude's really strong.
Yeah,
but
maybe.
Like, I don't feel like they have ever experienced a
photon blast shooting person. Yes. Yeah. That was very realistic. Also, just like the time frame of the vehicles seem right for the time. Mm-hmm. I try and dig into that whenever I'm watching.
Yeah.
I was trying to pay attention to that. I feel like the vehicles make sense for the time frame. Her dressing, Blockbuster being open,
and Radio Shack
being open.
Sponsor us if there's any else open.
Also, all of the like musical things going on. If there's a lot of Nirvana songs playing, she's wearing a Guns N' Roses t-shirt at some point, which was a huge band in the 90s. For realism, like I said, and I love this little touch of when she steals the motorcycle and meets up with Fury eventually. She's wearing a 9-inch nail shirt. I don't know if anybody else caught that, but it's a 9-inch nail shirt. And then also she's got the flannel. And Fury even makes the comment, grunge really fits you.
Yeah.
And that was the era of the 90s. It was the grunge era for music. Personally, one of my least favorite eras of music because it killed thrash metal of the 80s, but more on that later. But for realism, I feel like for realism, I got to give it a 9. Everything makes sense. The planes maybe are a little off, but I mean, you got to think about this. We don't know what in the world the government's got that they're hiding as far as secret testing aircraft. So I give it a 9 for realism.
Yeah.
Accuracy, I can't speak to that, but I'm gonna give it a 3 just because the way Chase talked about it. Unfortunately, he was not able to be here with us tonight. He had some personal issues come up. But accuracy, I'm going to give it a 3 because he did say that he really hated the way that the movie portrayed the character versus the comics.
And like the comics weren't really looked that much.
Right.
This one.
Right. So he says that I'm just giving it based on his opinion. I'm giving it 3. Final score for Captain Marvel, I give it a 43 on my rating. So what do you think? Pretty good? And that's 43 out of 60. Keep in mind.
What did we give Captain America?
47. So Captain America's still more.
Yeah.
It's still a bit higher.
I would still agree. Captain America is a slightly better movie.
Is a better movie, yes. Slightly better. Slightly better. But join us next week. Or next
later
time.
Today.
Join us next time when I blindly review Iron Man, and I'm very excited for this one. I was about to say, I'm very excited. We're both
very excited about Iron Man.
Please like, comment, and subscribe. Follow us on Twitter. Follow us on Instagram. There will be a link in the description below. Also, go check out Captain America Blind Review if you have not already. We're going to go through the whole series, guys, and I've already got an idea for Season 2. We've got a lot of movies to go through on mine, but I've already got an idea for Season 2.
Whoa. Okay. And join us in the comments on this adventure. Tell us your favorite
part. Tell us
part.
Your favorite, your least favorite part. Give us your rating on our categories, please. We cherish the feedback. Guys, thank you so much for watching this video. We'll see you next time.
Be sure and subscribe and like and everything else.